you possibly might never get to where you want to get to because your relatives are weighing you down. And there are many ways they are weighing you down that you possibly don't even know. You don't realize that this is what is happening to me. You would have taken a lot of decisions that were not yours. And guess who gave you some of those ideas? Your parents. And it's quite unfortunate that you really cannot fight this. Guess what? There are things that your parents are passing down to you that you don't actually need. I noticed that each time you try to be so emotional, then your thinking cap will not be working. When it comes to like that love and comes to taking the right decisions to going ahead, you might need to separate the two. If you don't learn to separate it, both you, your parents, your relatives will cry. But if you learn to separate it with time, when you get to some certain level, you smile and you make them smile. Poor people cannot carry themselves. Perhaps somewhere you want to go in your life, perhaps your dreams, you want to fulfill them. But each time you try, you found out that you can't make it. You keep growing back because of your relatives. You face so much challenges because you are related to some certain caliber of people. Sometimes by relatives, I mean even your parents, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, and sometimes even your children, your own children. You possibly cannot achieve so many things because of them. You are a parent right now, you are possibly sacrificing your whole life just for them, the children. And possibly you are a child trying to grow, but your parents are not allowing you. You've tried all the means, but it's not just happening. Now there's a lot of ways these things happen, and one way or the other you are being hacked. Remember, what we are always teaching you is either how you can hack into the system of wealth, or how not to allow other things hack into your system of wealth. Now we found out that relatives are actually one of the hacks that, if allowed, could actually ruin your destiny. Of course, in many cases they help you build, but in many cases also they can ruin your destiny completely if care is not taken. This is an emotional topic. By the way, my name is A. Kabir, and if you are joining me for the first time, please, this is one of the most interesting hacks I'm gonna be giving you today, right? Sorry, I position some lights here so that you see me brightly. I think some things are falling off, so let me try to bring them in order. So if you are joining me for the first time, like I said, my name is A. Kabir. We're going to be doing this for 1000 days, and funny enough, today is already day 49, and we're going to be doing this together. So I have some points noted here just to guide me. Okay, now let's get started. You see, this is an emotional topic, like I said, and so many people might not understand me. Well, I don't just talk. Most times I've gone through studies, I've seen from experience, and I've discovered that you possibly might never get to where you want to get to because your relatives are weighing you down. Now, how do you go about it? And there are many ways they are weighing you down that you possibly don't even know. You don't realize that this is what is happening to me. For some of you, what you end up saying is some of the relatives are even using magical powers, juju. Well, I believe it exists, but I don't believe in it completely. That's by the way. Now, how does these things affect you? Apart from the juju thing, like there's something that is more powerful and more juju, more magical in terms of the impact of your relatives on you and your entire life. And I'm going to be unveiling it to you today, if only you are patient to listen to me from the beginning to the end. We're not going to spend much time today. Now, it all started from the love they show you. Let me start from the parents. You have been given birth to by the parents, by your parent I mean, and now you've grown into adults, especially between the age of 25 and above. And let me remind you before I continue today that if you are 25 and above, life has started for you. Right? Life has started for you mean that you should at least try to start getting the way of at least having a steady income, even if it means by starting actually by working for others. But that should not be your goal, okay? But you can get started from there. You should learn from age 1 basics and perhaps your education to 25. Once you get to 25, your life should get started. If you are 25 and you are still struggling with getting admission, I think you are late, and you might need to consider so many other things to do in order to multitask and meet up. Right? I was telling somebody today while I was chatting with him that at age 50, if I get there, I already have how I want to live. By the way, once I get to age 50, I want to resign from doing whatsoever, and perhaps my money will work for me at that age, and I will retire to just go and sit back. That's me, and that's my goal. So I'm advising you today that if you are age 25, life has started for you, and possibly before now, there's every possibility, just like me, that you would have taken a lot of decisions that were not yours. And guess who gave you some of those ideas? Your parents. They gave birth to you. They are more wise than you. They have wisdom. And even if they are not more wise than you, which of course I'm very sure that they are more wiser than you, they happens to bring you up in terms of upbringing. So in a lot of ways, apart from the biology, like the hereditary thing, like you inherit some of their attitude, some of their naturally, the way they behave, maybe the way they talk, the way they do their things. This one is natural. Possibly you might not be able to change it much, right? But there are so many things you can change, actually. As a matter of fact, even this hereditary thing that I've talked about now, you can also affect it. You can change it. I believe you can change everything if really you are ready. I don't know if you get. So your parent happens to pass that genetic information, that whatsoever genetic abilities they have, unknowingly, or even if it's knowingly, like automatic, they pass it to you. And it's quite unfortunate that you really cannot fight this. It's possible that your parents are not intelligent and they give you part of that character, part of that trait. It's possible that your parents are liars. It's possible that your parents don't have integrity. They don't have reputation. People don't want to deal with them. Sometimes the way with which perhaps some children are brought into this world is even shameful, that people don't want to be identified with them, not because it is their challenge, but because of what their parent has done. Reputation. There's a lot to say about this topic. Some of you will get emotional at a point, but we have to be blunt. There's a lot you will learn from today's session. Guess one thing with me. I am a very critical observer, thinker, and application of what I see, what I learn, what I hear, and I question almost everything I've been taught or told. And I noticed that my life began to change. You see, you love your parents so much. There's no doubt about that. If you don't love your parents, obviously there's a problem with you. Because I want to believe that that's the same way your parents love you. It's amazing. But guess what? There are things that your parents are passing down to you that you don't actually need. This is a hard truth now, right? And some people will get emotional about it. I don't know what's wrong with my eyes. You see, as much as possible, I notice that each time you try to be so emotional, then your thinking cap will not be working. when people get into love unnecessarily, without control, there's every possibility that they will not be using their logic thinking. If you ever take decisions based on feelings and love, there's every possibility that you will fail and make mistakes. Because most times what your heart or your feelings are telling you, logically, there's no point there. Over the time, guess what I've learned to do best is to separate my feelings from my thinking. I have messed up a lot of things in my past because of my inability to separate my thinking capacity, my logical reasoning from my feelings. And when it comes to parents, relatives, and whosoever that is related to you by blood, then there's every possibility that you don't use your head, you don't use your logic to think, you don't arrive at a logical conclusion when you want to take decisions, because it's your parents, because it's your uncle, because it's your father, your mother, your brothers, your sisters. You just decide to do it. Emotions. As much as possible, if you cannot control your emotions, you might not necessarily succeed in life. This is a reality. Well, we are not telling you to fight your relatives, to fight your parents, to go against them. But guess what? There are so many things you can do today that the same parents will be so proud of you. Only if, thank you for joining us, Mr. Jake A. Ihei. Thank you for always supporting us. We appreciate. And so many other people that are watching me live right now. From my heart. Okay, now let's continue. I've spoken at length about love. Actually, that stuff is causing a lot of confusion. Feelings, anything that has to do with feeling, of course, feelings can be used positively and can be used negatively. You are doing amazing. Thank you so much for this comment. You do not only put the fire emoji for me to feel wow, but you also comment. Thank you so much. I appreciate. If only my viewers, my audience, sometimes I see up to 500 people watching me, but they don't comment. I wonder why you are doing that. Ask me questions, right? Thank you, Mr. Jake, once again for the encouragement, always. Now, guess what? If you don't learn to separate your emotions, you're going to always get into trouble. You're going to take decisions that will affect your life. I told you I've done some of these things. I might not be revealing how it happens. Again, what I've noticed is that this built me in a lot of ways. Those mistakes here and there and trying to readjust into life has built me to who I am today. I've had so many failed relationships. Seriously, I'm not proud of it. But I think I'm beginning to get proud of it because I've learned so much within the shortest possible time. By the way, I'm planning to become one of the relationship experts. I'm already preparing a book on it and you will love to read it. Because I will teach you how I have failed in so many places and how I'm getting it right. Or I will say I've already gotten it right. There's so much blessing in failing. See, go and fail faster. Sometimes I advise people, go and fail intentionally. Perhaps what you are doing, you are running away from failure. Think about failing intentionally. There's so much power in it. For me, I didn't fail intentionally. It's because I was naive. I was not much educated when it comes to relationship, and I play a lot with emotions. Like I can respond a lot, like that empathy. Oh, I love, and that thing has gotten the best part of my brain, and I was just messing around. Don't be like that. It's very detrimental to you. Perhaps that's what is keeping you poor right now. You might not know. Believe me, you might not know. I would have been a big failure if I didn't detach myself, my emotions from certain decisions as I grew up. Please learn from this video. Guess what parents are doing because of the kind of love they are showing you? Remember, today we're talking about how the parents' love, the relatives' love are hacking into your dreams and denying you that ability to have the right hack into the world system. The way you were brought up, of course, so many parents are not well to do, with so much respect, with due respect. Don't feel like topic like this. Of course, I know people will be emotional about it and they might feel what I'm saying is trash. Fine. If you think what I'm saying is trash, then it's trash to you. But I'm talking from experience. And I know what it means to be able to separate when it comes to like that love and comes to taking the right decisions to going ahead. You might need to separate the two. If you don't learn to separate it, both you, your parents, your relatives will cry. But if you learn to separate it with time, when you get to some certain level, you smile and you make them smile. One of the best quotes I've heard from Dr. Stephen Akintayo is, two poor people cannot carry themselves. It's possible your parents are not doing well financially. It's a reality. You don't have to say it's an insult. It's a reality you need to accept, of course. And one thing emotion does again is that it stops you from taking realities and working with what is obtainable. It just blocks your thinking pattern, block your brain. Don't allow that to happen for a very long time. Otherwise, you lose it. You lose it completely. Don't you ever take decisions based on love or emotions. Love people, it's fine. Love make things happen, it's fine. By the way, if there's any way you can convert that love into doing something, I think I've made some videos some days back how you can use love to achieve things. Because of the feeling you have for your parent, that could push you to do things to be successful. But guess what is happening? Your parents love you so much, such a way that, okay, let me give you an example. The successful people, the children of the rich, most times you find out that it's hardly that some of them become successful, just like their father. For every parent's hope or desire is that their children should become better than them tomorrow. But in most cases, you find out that some of the kids of the rich becomes even more useless instead of becoming more successful. Why do you think this happened? Too much love, too much attention, too much available resources, too much comfort, and all of that. This they give in form of, oh, we love our children. Do you understand? He said, Mr. Jake is making so much comments here. He said, looking forward to it. He said, I need to see that clip where we talk about converting love. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, don't worry. Maybe by the end of this session, I'm gonna hook it down here on the comment section. Right? There was so much I've said there that will help. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, let's continue. Now, your parent, pampering, I think is the general language for it. The nurturing, especially in Africa. See, one thing I've learned recently is that you need to allow yourself to stress. You need to welcome bad energy. Not bad energy like you should feel bad, but like some kind of tough scenario. That reminds me, today we're having an interview for some kind of set of people. We are hoping to make some of our logistic manager in Nigeria. And somebody asked that, sir, I hope items don't get missed often, and you already put measures in place to be able to take care of this. And the guy looks like he's the type that like preventive measures instead of tackling problems, always trying to be careful. And I tell people that if you are too careful, there's every possibility that you're going to be poor. Don't be too careful. You need to blend with some little level of risk. If you really want to be successful like me, I told you I'm a billionaire, am I? Right? Really, I'm a billionaire. That's what I see myself. What about you? Okay, now the guy is too careful. You see, if you are too careful, I might not want to employ you, seriously. But the reason why I'm bringing the story, somebody among them, because we're actually doing the interview in groups, there were so many that we cannot take one at a time. Now, one of them said Look, asking this question is just like imagining how do you get married without having problem. Wow, that was it. This guy just answered the question. I said I will refer to this, and I promise him that if I'm making conversation today in my live video, I'm going to make this as an example. Always assume that there's a problem self, but prior to the problem, what are the possible solutions you're going to have handy to push yourself forward? Of course, there's definitely going to be problem, the ones you prepare for and the ones that you never prepare for, unforeseen. And that's how you get better. So your parent has spoiled you. Some of them, not only through pampering, guess what they do? They want you to go and study the kind of, maybe your dad is an engineer. You want you to become an engineer like him because he's so passionate about it. For you, you don't even care. You don't even want anything to do with an engineering, but he loves you and he want to recommend the best for you based on what he knows. And that's love. But that's a detrimental love. That's not for you. It's like shit to you. But you have to do this. Your father wants you to be a medical doctor. Guess what? My daddy wants me to become a professor in the university. I was actually already pursuing it. I was a lecturer 2 in the university, one of the most prestigious universities in Nigeria. I taught for only 2 years. Guess what? I quit the job. I resigned from the job and only can tell my dad after 1 year. That story is a long story, but my dad loves me, like seriously, daddy's boy. That's who you are seeing here. I thank God for such kind of love. Now, but you see, the love would have been so bad for me, especially with this particular goal of his, if I want to follow it to the letter. Because if I look at professors in the university system, the only person that inspires me is the VC. And how long would it take me to become a VC? All my hair will be white. And how much does VC earn in a month? Legitimately, I can earn times 2, 3 of it, even more than it in a month now. And I'm still just like, I've not started. So just imagine, with so much freedom, I'm into wealth creation. And you can do the same. See, I encourage people always that you should look beyond your current circumstances. I would have given up. By the way, some of you, if you are a lecturer today, you would have feel like you have gotten it all. By the way, maybe you are still in school, you feel like if you become a lecturer in the future, you would have gotten it all. But here I am, somebody like me telling you that you can be better. You can be better, right? Believe me, you can. I am doing it and I'm going to get better. Lecturers don't earn much. Yeah, that's the truth. I don't want to even review what I was earning. I was so disappointed. Thank you for joining me today, sir. You are making my lecture interactive. I was so disappointed at the earning and I had to quit. In fact, what made me so much disappointed was 8-month ASU strike, unpaid. I don't know what to do with my life. So I had to just find a way to leave. Do you understand? Why I digress a little bit to this is that your parents probably love you so much and they are suggesting to you things they think is best for you. Do you know what is best for your parents back then is so outdated now that nobody needs it for anything? I don't know how much time I should repeat this so that it will sink into your head well. What was so valuable at the time of your parents while they were growing up that they hold it to heart, that is so valuable to them, that probably made them successful to the level they are today, you don't even need it now. It's a trash. It's outdated. You don't need it for any reason. But you need to come to reality with this. And you need to find, okay, what knowledge is good for you now. For I have some people are listening to me and they think, oh, he's just talking like, why are you looking down on parents? No, that's not it. If you think like that, you're possibly going to stay back like this. You are not going to move. I know what I'm saying. The society today has changed a lot. Your parents don't, some of our parents cannot even use Android phone. And not just to make call, like they can't even read, even some of them can read numbers, they can make calls, but like what I mean they can't use is that they cannot maneuver things, they cannot, I'm making a live video sessions now. people across the globe are watching me live. Imagine the kind of people I'm having meeting with right here, sitting right here. The first time we'll be telling some people from our village that we are doing an online business, that we buy from China, we sell to Kenya, Ghana and other countries. They were like, crazy. How can you do that? You are just a Yahoo boy and all of that. They don't understand it. Somebody that cannot use WhatsApp, what do you expect? Do you understand? Now, is that same person that wants to suggest what you will study to come and live in this current society because of the love they have for you? See, your parents love you, but you might need to start rebooting your head and think something else. If you follow that love, it's gonna put you into problem. You're gonna live below them, which is not your target. You're supposed to come and be able to take care of them. I don't know if you get. Now, that nurturing, there's a problem with it. I don't want to talk too much about it. Now, another next thing is advice. You are looking for a financial advice. Now, for me, I want to become a billionaire. I have the figures in my head. I wake up with it, I sleep with it. Now, there's every possibility that your parents have never seen, can I say, 7 figure, 8 figure. Okay, let me not even go far. There's every possibility that your parents have not seen 5 million cash in their accounts. It's not an insult. As much as possible, these days I want to make my session so practical as possible. It's either you want to believe me or not. I just have to say it the way it is. It's wealth creation journey. If you are interested, let's go. Give yourself some time and we're going to make it. But that's the truth. There are principles. And there's nothing anybody can do about principles. They don't change. There might be a little bit of shifting from one scenario to the other, but principles remain principles. And as much as you apply, the more income you can get to yourself. So what I'm telling you is, you want to take advice of how to fix your car from somebody that is fixing a bicycle. Is that what you are doing? What do you think will happen? You want to make 100 million naira or dollars, and you are seeking advice for somebody that has never gotten 1 million naira complete in his or her account. It's definitely going to murder you and your dreams. Remember, our topic today is how relatives hack into your dreams and perhaps possibly your wealth and money that are supposed to be able to create to help them. Do you understand? Go to people who understand. If you want to get treatment, hospital, go to the doctor. If your problem is related to heart, go to cardiologist. If your problem is related to what? Whatsoever it is, go to specialists. That's what I've learned over the time. Even when I get to hospital, I don't just go to random doctors these days. Like, who is really in charge of this? I don't know if you get. And there's quality to this. You will not understand. But let's try to round up. Please, parents will give you advice, but truth is, they have wisdom and I respect it. I still take advice from my parents. I still take advice from everybody, but I now see this one my daddy have said is good. And one good thing with us now is that I sit with my daddy and we discuss. Just like that's what I'm doing with my child now. We discuss. He asked me, why are we doing this? And I explain. I also asked him, why should we do this? And he explained. Wow, life is beautiful if you can learn something like that with your parents. Okay, but in case they are giving you advice, they are not professional in this area, you can even educate them or just find a way of ignoring the advice and just pick whatever is best. You should be able to have that sense of your own now. Anything from age 25, even before age 25. Right? But if you get to age 25 and you still don't have this common sense, then you are done for it. In fact, if you are 30 going forward, you are already late. I don't want to talk about you. But the truth is, you can always retrace your steps and get better. Right? So, before you take advice, look at the person that is giving you the advice. How far is the person doing with regards to that advice? If it's a relationship advice, go to relationship experts. If it's a financial advice, go to financial experts. If it's a marriage advice, go to people who are married. If you, like some of us that are if you believe in polygamous home, go to people who are running polygamous. Do you understand? If it's one wife you want, don't go and be talking to a person that is having 4 wives. Do you understand? Just talk to the person that is an expert and has been able to manage one wife over years, maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 or even 50 years. Talk to such people. Those are the wisdom. They will give it to you hot. That's what I mean. Do you understand? If your dad is good in terms of finances, why not talk to him? It's easy. You are not going to pay. By the way, pay. I don't believe in free value. If you can pay your daddy to teach you finances, please pay. It's one of the hacks. Pay for value. There's no such thing as free. Now, some of them, how did they hack into your system? Entitlement. They believe they gave you a lot, so they expect a lot. So even when you are not having a lot, you must give a lot. Wow, this has bring down dreams. Dr. Stephen Akintayo said, and let me repeat again, if you cannot stand, you cannot carry anybody. You have to stand financially to a level before you can extend. The seed you have that you can use to grow, if you give it to somebody to eat or you eat it yourself, then how do you grow your tree? Where do you expect the fruits to come from? You need to delay gratification. Train your relatives to understand that, look, this is a phase. One powerful thing I learned about this with Dr. Lumide Emmanuel, he said he had to gather his parents, his brothers, and everybody when he decided that I want to embark on this wealth creation journey. My brothers, anybody that is interested in this journey, come, let us do it together. My parents, please, I need time. He happens to be the first child in the family. 4 years was what he gave them, and he left. Then he began to struggle. He said once he came back from that, after the 4 years, he placed his parents on salary. Now imagine, the parents understood him and they allow him for some time. That's amazing. How many of the parents can do this? Whereas what you are doing, you are pressurizing your child. Your child cannot stand, and now you bring him down and he's back with you, perhaps in the village, or he's not doing well, and all of you are suffering. If you don't have that child, are you going to die? You are not. Obviously, if the child is not alive, you're still going to live. And that's one thing you as a child should understand. And you should avoid, and that's the main reason why you should avoid blackmail. Like, once they come, because some of them come with that emotional blackmail, like they want to die now. If not for you, they want to die now. And once that hack, they hack directly into your brain. Is it your emotions? Because what emotions does is it overcloud your thinking capacity, and before you know, your last card, even if you have ordered for a product before, you have to stop it and bring that money. And once that happens, you are done with. Then you don't have anything to sell, or you are no longer a businessman, or your business has crashed. Then you go back to them. They can't help you, you can't help them. You now need help self. That's terrible. Well, again, before we finalize this video, we are not saying you should not help. Don't get it wrong. We are not saying you should not help, but help based on what you can afford to do. There's a simple practical I saw sometimes ago in the internet, that the person will say, okay, these are 3 cups. Imagine, okay, I have this, let's assume this is a cup filled, another cup. So this is just, there's a little water here. If this is how far you have grown your wealth and you are planning to fill this, then you might not necessarily be able to transfer this to another person. You are still growing it. Wait until this gets filled. When this is completely filled with wealth, then you can now lessen it. So when you lessen it, because obviously the wealth is still growing, so some parts will be coming out, so you lessen it out, then you grow again. Then with time, you find out that you now have 2 bottles, so you can now afford to give much. You now have 3 bottles because it's growing. You can now afford to give. Before, you used to lessen this a little for them, but you can now give entire bottle to them based on it's now growing. That's the system, and you are okay, they are okay. Of course, they have to manage. But I noticed that for most people that are civil servants, they don't think this way. They get all the salary they spend, they go back again. They spend, they go back again. And that's how their cycle continues until after 35 years or more. And when they retire, they now wonder why they are poor. I don't know if you get. Please, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, share, let others also enjoy from it. Okay, we're going to continuously do this for 1000 days. If you are meeting me for the first time, like I said earlier, my name is A. Kabir, and we're going to continuously do this. Always come back here every day, and we're going to be dropping it hot. Thank you for having me, and see you tomorrow.